everyone, welcome back to the official YouTube channel of Lightway Research and Technology Center. In this quick tutorial, I will show you how to import data into SPSS, whether it is from Excel, CSV or text. I want to assure you that at the end of this video, you will have a clear knowledge of how to get all those data into your SPSS environment. As usual, the first thing you need to do is to launch your SPSS. You need to launch your SPSS, and here I already have my SPSS opened. So once you open your SPSS, the next thing is to get your data into your SPSS. And don't forget that when you first launch your SPSS package, you will be greeted with a blank page with only two fields, the variable fields and the and the data field. So I want to open a new one. Okay, here I have a new one. So this is what you will see when you launch your SPSS. We have the data field and we have the variable field. But don't forget, the goal in this video is to import external data. You know, in the previous video, I showed you how to create a variable and also how to enter your data. But here, let us assume that you already have your data in Excel file. You already have your data in Excel file. Then you want to move it to SPSS. The first thing to do is to make sure that your data is ready. Yes, so this is the data I want to import. You take a look at your data. Do you have the variables, the variable names? Okay, we have it already. We have the identifier. We have the variable name. That's the first column. That's employment, education, tribe, religion, gender, and let's say productivity. So we have the data already in this Excel file. So now you go back to your SPSS, then you click on File. Don't forget that we have the menu bar at the top. So once you click on your file, then you click Open. Here you will see that we have different options. Then out of these options, the one that will help you to get your data into SPSS environment is data. So you click on data. Once you click on data, you have this particular file. The first thing is to select the file where the location of your data. So the location, this is the location of this is where I save my Excel file. So now, but if you look at the options here, the data, this particular data is not the SPSS training series. So now the next thing I need to do is to come to files of types, then I will select what? Excel. So once I select Excel, you can see my documents has come up. So next is to just click on it, then open. SPSS has started loading my variable. Now look at this particular pop-up page. It is very, very important you check this. Read variable names from the first row of data, and this worksheet, that is the first sheet. If I'm not interested in the first sheet, let's assume I have several sheets here. You can see I have only one sheet. If I have several sheets here, I will need to select I will need to come here and select the sheet, but here I have just one. So the next thing is just to click OK. Yes, Now I have my data imported to XPSS, but it is a must for you to check through the data, particularly the variable field. You must come here and check whether there is a need for you to adjust one or two things. But the point remains that you will certainly need to work on your variable field. Why? Because something like the label will not be found there. Of course, also the value. So you need to come back and define the properties of each of these variables. Here we have how many variables? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 variables. Don't forget that the first one is identifier. So now the next thing is to define the properties of each of these variables. So the first one, that's employee. Certainly, since everything here is value, so there's no need of changing this particular numeric. It will remain numeric. And another thing that you should also take note is this particular decimal. You see, don't forget that this is productivity and it is a continuous data. You can see we have something like 0.9. So you are not expected to change this particular one to 0, because if you change it to 0, it will affect this particular data. So you are expected to modify every other one except this particular decimal. Now label, the first one I say is identifier, so you just enter identifier. Next, the label is what? Employees. Next is education. The next one is tribe. Of course, that one is clear. Next is religion. The next is gender. You just enter gender. And the last one is productivity. Okay, we have the labels clearly defined. Now the next thing is the value. This particular one, you don't need to tamper with the ID because we are not going to use it for an analysis, but every other one you must ensure that you adjust all. For instance, for employment now, so the first thing is, okay, if you have your code book, this will be very easy because you just pick your code book and enter the value of each of the categories. But if you do not have your code book, then you need to go back to the data field and look at the data that you have there. The major importance of this part of importing your data directly from Excel is that it saves you times of entering the data one after the other in SPSS. So you would have finished everything in Excel, then you just move it to SPSS and define the properties of the variable, then move on with your analysis. Of course, you can also do the data cleaning and so on, adjustment, transformation in Excel too. But if you want to have all your variables saved in SPSS or generated in SPSS, you can also move them down here, then you begin every other manipulation. Now we have the range is from 1 to, okay, this can be employee. Okay, 1 to 13. Okay, let's just assume that this is 1 to 9, 15. 1 to 9, 15. Okay, this is also a scale. This is a scale, so it's a scale. You just come here. Okay, you can see it has already identified its scale. Then the next one is education. Education, it ranges from 1 to the highest one is what? Is 5. The highest one is 5, so this is nominal. This is also nominal because it is in order. So we can now say 1 primary, 2 secondary, 3 diploma, 4 okay, we can say BSc or Bachelor of Science. Okay, just say BSc. Okay, let's say 4 should be undergraduate. How am I going to put that? Okay, let's say first degree, and let's say 5 is second degree. 5 is second degree. That's master's. Second degree. So it is what? It is oh my god, no. This shouldn't be here. Remove. Okay, so the definition should be here. This education. So 1 primary, 2 secondary education, 3 diploma, 4 for first degree, and 5 second degree. Okay, so this is nominal. Then the next one is tribe. So this should be ordinal because it is in order. Ordinal. So this is tribe. Tribes should be what? Nominal. Let's check how many tribes do we have. 0, 1. So we only have 2 tribes. So we go back to variable field, then you define it. Let's just say white, black. 1 white, 0 black. So that's that. We have that. The next is religion. How many do we have? Also 0, 1. So let's just say Christian, Muslim. You come back, value 1 for Christian, and 2 for what? 2 from Islam. I say Islam. Oh, sorry, this should be 0 because it's 1, 0. Remove. We have 1, 0 there. So 1, 0. Then the next is gender, so which is 1, 0. So you come here and pick 1 male. So you can also say small letter male, but since we have used a capital letter at the beginning of our just say then 0 female. So we have that as well. Then productivity should be what? Scale. So here is the only other variable here is this education. Every other one is unordered variable, and you can see this is a continuous variable. That's why it is in form of scale. So now we have defined the properties of our variable. So we have defined the properties of our variable. So that is how to import data into SPSS, and also how to check, how to define the properties. And another important thing is that once your data is in, you need to check your data field very well. You need to ensure that all the values you are seeing there are not different from what should be there, because whatsoever you input is what SPSS will give you as output when you run your analysis. So if anything look off, like the numeric here, maybe if you see strange, you are expected to adjust it. You are expected to make the right adjustment before you start your analysis. So that is just, it's about data importation into SPSS, particularly for Excel, which is very common. If you are using a CSV file, you are also going to follow the same process, which is data. The only thing is here you select CSV file, CSV. So instead of Excel, then you will see the data here. Then from there you click open, and you will have your data. So if this particular video really helped you, please give it a like, subscribe for more SPSS tips, and drop a comment if you have questions. Of course, you can just go to comment section, drop your comments, and we'll certainly respond. Thank you.